right. She's little, but she's right. Many of us, women who are here today, are members of an organization called the Second Amendment Sisters. And they sell this really great t-shirt, and on the front of it, it says, "Firearms, the ultimate in feminine protection." You can't argue with that. So, Second Amendment Sisters, how are you today? Join us at one of our monthly shoots, or 2 monthly shoots when the weather gets better. So much to talk about. I mean, we've been talking politics, we've been talking legislation. But you know what? If these folks would just leave us alone, we wouldn't have to do this. We wouldn't have to be doing this. But because we have to do this, let me reiterate what JR said about the Political Action Committee. Not a lot of people like to get involved in those, partly because maybe you don't want to put your name down. Maybe you don't want to have to fill in all of the information because a list goes somewhere, whether it's the Secretary of State's office or whatnot. But understand that donations to political action committees below a certain level can be anonymous. And if any of you are interested in working with our PAC or any others, we'd be happy to talk to you about what those limits might be. Excuse me. Those of you who were here last year will remember our next speaker, although he's pretty unforgettable anyway. I have the great pleasure of being one of his minions. Skip Murphy, who's another engineer, also was a co-founder and the big dog behind a blog site called Granite Grok. One of my favorite places to hang out. Granite Grok does radio. Granite Grok is, are you live streaming?
Not today.
Not today. But we're video taping today. We've got other Groksters here. We've got Mike Rogers, Marmar Tom, Flaherty, you're here, Rick Olsen, myself, a couple of others of us. And we like nothing better than hacking people off. And we're inspired every day by the hacker himself, Skip Murphy. Welcome.
A little bit higher. Well, I feel a lot of shape here because everyone who has spoken before me has done one of two things. Either they have been among what I would consider the distinguished speakers, and they stole lots of what I was going to say. I am not a distinguished speaker. I am a rabble-rouser, as some of you know. And if you were here last year, and I know I was asked to repeat it again, I brought up a little bit of a meme that I would ask that you would share with me again. The bigger the government, the smaller the citizen. The bigger the government, the smaller the citizen. The bigger the government, the smaller the citizen. And that has lots of ramifications. You know, as Ian Underwood said, really the document we should be looking at that sets the floor for our governmental philosophy is that of the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I will point out that happiness was the second choice. It used to read, the pursuit of property. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. The bigger the government, the smaller the citizen. We see a runaway government. Not so much here in New Hampshire, although they are getting the ball rolling, but certainly at the federal level. It seems more and more as power is concentrated into DC, we out here in the hinterlands have less power, and yet government came second. We are supposed to be foremost. We are supposed to be above government. And unfortunately, during the last 120 years or so, that relationship has switched, in my opinion. There are some here that vote on your behalf. Well, they think they are. They say they are. They are elected representatives. But when you go back to this, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. Here's what some of them have to say. New Hampshire State Rep. Chris Roberts, he's a Democrat. Government has to protect us from our own stupidity. Now, isn't that a nice way to view those that you are supposed to represent? This is a rather condescending attitude. This basically says, because I have become elected, I'm smarter than you are. New Hampshire State Representative Lee Webb, Democrat. The role of government is to legislate behavior. Let's see, live free or die. Legislate behavior, live free or die. Something's gotten mixed up here, folks. And it's because we let them get away with it. I like what J.R. Hole said. Show them the door. Hit them with the newspaper, although perhaps sometimes somebody over here said, hit them with a 2x4. I like that. Because sometimes they are too dumb and they won't pay attention. New Hampshire State Representative John Mann, D, Democrat. This is his idea of what liberty is good for. Liberty is either an ideology or a gross misrepresentation and oversimplification, accidental or otherwise, of what government is for. In other words, liberty, freedom, not so much. New Hampshire State Rep. Laura Pantelokis, Democrat. She really helped the Free State Project here in New Hampshire with this one. I don't care about protecting people's liberty. This was in reference to the license plate bill that almost made it through. She just didn't care. New Hampshire State Representative Cynthia Chase, Democrat. One way is to pass measures that will restrict freedoms that they think they will find here. I'm sorry, I did mix these up. This was a person who basically said, why is, this person from the socialist state of Rhode Island, basically was against the Free State Project, which frankly, from my standpoint, are a lot of people coming in to enjoy a limited government, the ability to live free or die as they see fit. Basically, like a lot of us, just leave us the heck alone. So, that last quote requires the full quote in the context that this transplant from the socialist state of Rhode Island said that what she would do to stop the Free State Project members, who are generally for that limited government, anathema to an uber progressive as she from migrating here. What we can do is to make the environment here so unwelcoming that some will choose not to come and some will actually leave. One way is to pass measures that will restrict freedoms that they think they will find here. What about those of us who are here? Free State Project members or not? What kind of restrictions does she wish to place on us just to keep others out? Is that, my favorite question, the proper role of government? No. The bigger the government, the smaller the people. There are others, and I figure I might as well go through them quickly because, like I said, everybody else before me stole everything that I was going to say. Harvey Weinstein, very famous movie maker. Obama is not embarrassing. The country is embarrassing. U.S. Interior Secretary Sally Jewell. The new energy future will require the federal government to encourage the right kinds of behavior. In other words, we know better than you what is best for you. We are going to, basically, if you've been following the news, they're out to destroy the coal industry because it's not good for you. They have made that decision on your behalf. And by the way, folks, in the next couple of years, as the coal plants keep shutting down faster and faster, your electric rates are going to double, at the least. U.S. President Barack Obama. We are 5 days from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. In other words, the America that we have all grown up with, those of us who are of a certain age, we have enjoyed our freedoms, we've enjoyed our lives, we've made it through pretty much a lot of things on our own. He doesn't think that we can do that anymore. And now from the First Lady. On The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, as he takes Jay Leno's place, First Lady Michelle Obama explained that it was more important than ever for young people older than 26 to sign up for health insurance. Well, 26. It's because until then you're still a child on your parents' insurance. A lot of people think they're invincible, Obama, she said. But the truth is, young people are knuckleheads. They're the ones who are cooking for the first time and slice their finger open. They're dancing on the bar stool. What a condescending attitude from the First Lady to call pretty much all young people too stupid to do much, and that you can only exist and thrive with the power of government behind you. You must subvert your freedom and join in with the collective. That's right. One last quote. Daniel Henninger of the Wall Street Journal summed this up very, very well. What is the perfect example of the progressive philosophy of these micro-totalitarians? The essence of the modern Democrat progressivism is you will participate in what they have created for you, and you will comply with their law's demands. And all I have to do is look at Connecticut and all the gun owners who are not registering their arms and going, the government has outstripped the consent of the governed. This is civil disobedience, and they have no idea what to do. Although several Democrats have expressed the opinion that now government has to go after all of these people. Lovely. One law makes thousands, tens of thousands of their citizens felons overnight. I will call you, in closing, I'm going to call your attention to what JR said earlier. Look at Venezuela and Ukraine, and Argentina is not behind. Their governments outstrip the consent of their individuals, of their citizens. They decided that they knew best, and now their countries are in ruin, economically, democratically, and spiritually. They are in open revolt. I cannot tell you how horrified I was on ABC News, of all places, a few nights ago, to see the video of citizens being killed in the street by government snipers. Bands of them standing together, hiding behind 2x4s, plywood, whatever they could pick up. And I can see in my mind's eye right now, one after another being hit by a governmental sniper's bullet, and then rolling them, the force of the bullet just rolling them into the street, and the death throes that they underwent. Our founders gave us an important piece of information. Self-defense is a natural right, not given to one by government. I am quite sure that all the protesters in Venezuela and Ukraine right now, after being shot at by their government, wish that they had a Second Amendment, that their government had never disarmed them. They are being slaughtered by their own government. Second Amendment is not for hunting, not for sport. It is for self-defense, but not just a... That is correct. But many of us carry what the progressives think are just evil, evil pieces of plastic and steel. Because we recognize it isn't just for self-defense against other citizens or ne'er-do-wells. But we see the example of why on our TV sets every night. Just look to Venezuela and Ukraine. People say, especially progressives say, well, that could never happen here. I'm sorry. I disagree. As Susan said, we are Granite Grok. We are the leading conservative libertarian blog site, political blog site here in New Hampshire. And I want to thank every single one of you who comes to our site to read what we write and to watch the videos that we do or listen to our podcasts. But the big dog in the blogosphere is a person by the name of Glenn Reynolds of Instapundit. And let me close with this. This morning, surfing around just before coming down here to Concord from the Lakes region, I read this. And he's a law professor, by the way. I got asked by a big TV production outfit to consult on a series about a second American Civil War, but had to turn them down. But I wonder what a popular style revolt in the U.S. would look like. The U.S. is much less centralized than countries like Egypt, Venezuela, or Ukraine. I don't think mass protests in the capital city are the template. I wonder if we would see something like the fuel protest that nearly brought the British government down a while ago, or other forms of outdoor activities as a lead-up. At the moment, we're certainly nowhere near that, but nonetheless, I'd say we're nearer to it than we have been in quite some time. Posted at 9:45 last night. They say it cannot happen here in America. I'm sorry, that's delusional thinking. As Ronald Reagan said, freedom is only one generation from being lost. It is up to us to teach our children and our children's children what the true meaning of freedom is. And sometimes that does require sacrifice. But I fear that time may be coming. I see it in the blogosphere, where people that I would never expect to be writing about such things of saying, I need to have some extra food. I bought a generator. I'm taking some firearms lessons. People are nervous. I think they understand that people are being pushed too far and that something might happen. What do you do when it comes to your door is one question that I read last night.
Don't miss.
Is our country being fundamentally transformed by our spirit? As the former spirit of the American people, which used to be can do, succeed no matter what, is it being turned into, I'm sitting on my couch and somebody else has to the government has to take their stuff and give it to me because I'm entitled to it. Folks, you are here to say no. You need to get involved because this may be a turning point. And I finish with this. The bigger the citizen, the smaller the government. Thank you.